This is a really weird angle to film at. Oh, and I hope you guys don't mind my messy desk. Don't mind my messy desk. Okay. This is weird. This is so different. Okay, I hope you guys don't mind the weird, different angle. It is really weird and awkward for me to be filming in a corner, especially with all this stuff. But I need to talk about this section of my fabric stash. So we're coming from a different angle. So Valentine's Day is just around the corner. It is like 10 days away. So I am trying in the future from now on to make at least one Valentine's Day dress a year. Just because I have a stockpile of Valentine's Day fabric and dress ideas. And I actually love Valentine's Day fabric. I love pink fabric. So I need to make a new Valentine's Day dress. And these were my contenders, or these are my contenders for the next few years. I have, I can't really get in there. Ugh. I don't really want that pink underneath to come out. I have this pink heart Valentine's Day fabric that I got from Joann's in 2024, I believe. Yeah, 24. And I think there's enough fabric that I can make 2 dresses out of it, but I don't know what dresses I want to make out of it. So I think this one is out of the running for this year. I do have, that is tissue paper. We don't need that right now. I do have in here somewhere underneath everything, I do have a old white dress that I don't wear anymore because it needs some help, is what it needs. It's just not the style of dresses that I wear anymore. I don't like my shoulders being shown anymore. And this is a like thin strap dress. Anyway, so I thought I would redo this dress one day and cut out some cute little pink felt hearts and sew those all over the dress, the circle skirt. But I'm not feeling into that dress this year. I'm not feeling it this year. What I really wanted to do was this cute flannel. I should do this one. Let me go this way. You go back in there. I got this really cute flannel bed set a couple of months ago? A month ago? I think at the beginning of January. At the beginning of January or December, around Christmas time. December, January, I got this cute Valentine's Day. They look like kind of Easter eggs too. Flannel bed set, and it's a twin bed set, which really kind of bums me out. It's a twin bed set that I got at the thrift store, and it was stupid, ridiculously expensive. It was actually like $9 for the whole twin bed set. I was kind of mad, didn't want to pay the price, but it's cute fabric. So yeah, it's a pillowcase, fitted sheet, and a flat sheet. And I wanted to do this dress design on it, but this dress was made out of a queen flannel bed sheet, and I barely had enough. So I don't think a twin will fit, especially since this one, I didn't lay it on pattern. I laid it more on grain, some parts. This one, I would have to lay it on English. I would have to lay it on pattern, and there's definitely not enough fabric for that. So I have to come up with a new dress idea for that, and I don't know what to do. So that one, as much as I really wanted to do it, it's not gonna work out. So I'm gonna go with an easy win because I'm really still very bummed about that one. So I'm gonna go with an easy win. In this project I have, or in this bin of project, I have the other Valentine's Day fabric, which looks like this. So last year I made a 1970s dress out of this fabric. Link for it will be somewhere or in the description box below. So when I made that dress last year, I cut out both dresses out of the fabric at one time because I wanted to make sure out of the fabric like this one, I want to make 2 dresses out of, but I wanted to make sure I had enough fabric to make both dresses. So I cut both dresses out at the same time. And then I just threw all the pieces for the dress in this box, and here it is a year later. So yeah, I have literally, it says side back. This part says front. This is the back. We have the facings still attached to the pattern. I have sleeves. I have sleeves. There should be a side back somewhere here in this. Hopefully there's a side back somewhere in there. And then we have the nice beautiful skirt, nice circle skirt, and some more scrap pieces of fabric, like literally scrap pieces of fabric. And in this cute little strawberry, now if I can open it, is the thread that I used last year, which is matching thread. The bobbin that's almost out of thread that matches. And a cute container full of little hearts, little glittery hearts. Little glittery heart buttons. So, which I wanted to use for this dress. So the whole reason I made this dress design is I wanted to use these buttons with that pattern. So this dress is gonna be kind of my own creation, like everything else in life. It is a circle skirt bottom, but we will be using the top of this pattern, which is Simplicity 2161. Okay, and this is the dress, or the pattern, not the dress. This is the pattern I've used for my other winter dress, my World War II Red Cross nurse dress, my Haunted Mansion dress. I love this pattern. I use it a lot. But what I'm gonna do is I'm literally going to, or what I did do, is I laid the pattern on the fabric and then cut it off right a couple inches below where the waistline mark is. And then I'm just gonna do the top like normal and attach it to the circle skirt. Hopefully have a button down front and everything will work out. That's the game plan. So yeah, I don't know what else to really say. Everything's actually cut out for once. I already know what pattern I'm using, and so I guess, and I'm not gonna do a mock-up because, like I've said, I've used this pattern a ridiculous amount of times. And I already cut out all the fabric, so there's no point in doing a mock-up. So I guess I will just assemble. This is, like I said, an easy win. Hopefully an easy win. This is weird. This is weird. Like, I'm in a weird corner. I've got a weird setup of doing this dress this year. This is all just weird. Okay. Weird, weird, weird. That's what we're going with. Weird vibes. Weird vibes. Hopefully I like this dress and this dress design and pattern. I hope we do. I hope I do. Like, part of me wants to do trim on it, but I just know that fabric is really, really hard to like get matching trim on. I mean, I could try doing like a white or one of the reds. I just know I tried in the past last year and I didn't like any of the trims, but I feel like it would look cute with the trim. Let's just build the dress, figure out if we like it without trim, and then we can try seeing if we can make some trim for it. Really would like a burgundy. Do I have a burgundy? I have that burgundy. I wonder if that burgundy. No, that's not burgundy enough. Maybe. Okay, hopefully this is not a sign of how the rest of this dressmaking is gonna go. I did one seam. This seam right here. See? This one right here. I did this one with what was left over on that bobbin. And then the bobbin ran out. So I filled up the bobbin. Yes, I know it's not really prettily done. I don't know what was going on with my sewing machine, but it filled up the bottom side more than the top. And now I just dropped that bobbin. Anyway, and then I ran out of thread. And that thread, look. I don't know if you can tell with this light. It matches perfectly. It is like the most perfect pink to match this light pink part. It matches perfectly. So I went through my stash of thread and was like, okay, I will fill up this bobbin and this bobbin and this thread. Oh, I cannot do this one-handed. This is super hard red one-handed. This is so hard to do one-handed. Okay, so I've filled up this bobbin because it's pink matches this pink. I mean, and we're just doing the seams. It's not like it's the biggest deal. Yeah, took up the rest of that thread. So now we have 2 bobbins, no thread that matches. And I still need to make buttonholes, so I'm like, I mean, I need to like sew the whole dress, but in the end I gotta sew buttonholes, so I'm trying to figure out what thread I want for the buttonholes, and I was really hoping to go for that one. Worst case scenario, that one. Now I have to go through this whole entire drawer of all the pinks again and try to find yet another pink that matches, hopefully enough to sew a whole entire dress and buttonholes. Oh, and I should probably make sure they match the buttons too. Ugh! This was supposed to be an easy win. Luckily, I have a lot of pinks, but that's a maroon. That's a pink. We're probably going to try to stick with the bigger rolls, but that's like not a pink that's going to match. I mean, it kind of looks like it matches on camera, but that is not going to match. Oh, and then we have reds down there. This sucks. Okay, well, I'm going to go through all my pinks and go find my buttons and make sure the pink thread matches the buttons and the fabric. And yes, that's a blanket on my lap. This is so infuriating. Okay, I got my husband's opinion. And he came up with actually a pretty ingenious, creative idea. First off, he says, if we went with one color, he says this one is the one he likes the most after this one. But he doesn't think I'm going to have enough thread, and I'm going to play the same problem I was playing with before. So he says out of the big reels, he likes this one. Oh, the other one I already put away. Whoopsie. He says out of the big reels, he likes this one, but it's, as you can kind of tell, also really low. So he's really, once again, worried I'm going to play chicken, thread chicken. So he says what I should do is, there's a multiple of colors on the dress of all the hearts. Why not make every buttonhole a different color? Or out of the 5 colors, we decided not to do 6 because 5's an odd number and odd numbers look better than even numbers. So we went with these 5, and we're going to probably do either gradient or random assorted of these 5 colors for buttonholes. Unless I change my mind down the road, because I might not like that. But yeah, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to have these weird gray looking silver heart buttons and 5 different buttonhole colors. And then we're going to use the salmon looking one. It looks so much salmon. It does not look salmon on camera. They look like blushy pink, like an light blush pink. Anyway, we're going to go with these ones as thread for the seams because they are in the pink family. They're in the same pink family as like this color. And they're not that orange in salmon color in real life. And it's the seams nobody's really going to see. So that's what we're doing. Now on to winding up some bobbins, threading my machine so we can actually sew this dress together. So it's been a few days since I've sewn this whole top together. I wasn't feeling good that day. I actually sewed this top together, tried it on, was like, oh, it's not fitting right. Put it away and just took a nap the rest of the day. Took a nap. Anyway, it's been a couple days now. I'm feeling much better and tried on the top again. I was like, it's still not fitting. Why isn't it fitting? So I went to go undo these side seams, and as you can see, I already did this one. And as I was undoing the side seam, I noticed some pink dots. You can't even see the third one on this side. There's a third one. There's supposed to be 3. I know there's supposed to be 3. Yeah. So yeah, there's these pink dots. Can you guess what that is? This right here is a dart. This right here is where I should be taking in the sleeve if I do. Here, let me bring the pattern over. If I do this sleeve, I'm supposed to take it in on those darts. If I do the longer sleeve, you keep these upper spots. But yeah, these lower dots are for that. Yeah, no, that's a dart. Look, there's one on the other side. Don't mind my iron funny bar spot, but yeah, more pink dots. Yeah, I now get to undo the seams and hurry and put those darts and put that seam back together. Whoopsie! This is why you don't do things while you don't feel good, while your brain is taking a hiatus. Because even if you've sewn things millions of times, you still make mistakes. At least it's not like a huge one. But yeah, kind of a beginner oopsies. Yeah, so also while I'm going through all the pieces, because I was trying to remember what I left off at, I still haven't done anything with the skirt, but I've noticed there's 2 sets of sleeves here. So this one is already not assembled, but see, there's a sleeve. This one's assembled and it matches. It's even got like the whole gathered ease assembled. I don't know what I was doing with that last year, but there's a sleeve. But look, we also have another set of sleeves. Why do I have 2 sleeves? And why do they not like look the same? As you can tell, like this one's wider and that one has a higher, that one's higher and this one's wider. So, I cut out 2 different sets of sleeves and now I get to figure out which ones I want to use. Yay! I think this one is like this one of the pattern. I've never used this sleeve, so I'm not sure if it's that one. I mean, it looks like it could be. So I'm gonna have to pull out this one's sleeve and see if it is. And I was just like, hey, I wanted to go with a more puffy sleeve but shorter. I don't know, but I apparently have 2 sets of sleeves. Oops. This is why you take notes of what you're doing with your projects. Because when you come back a year later, you're like, apparently even while I was making it, I'm like, cut 2 sets of sleeves. I don't know what I did a year ago and I don't know why. I mean, apparently I can't even sew nowadays because I forgot darts. Yeah, I don't even know what to say to myself except for don't do things when you have a sick brain, because that's this. And past me, can you explain to current me what the heck you were doing? But hey, at least I have options. Gotta be an optimist, right? I got options. So yeah, thought I would insert that in. But anyway, I'm gonna go put darts in now and resew the side seams, unpick this seam, and then try it on, and I bet you it'll fit right. Okay, I'm gonna hold the mic because I feel like it looks really weird and kind of off-putting if I have the mic clipped on. So I'm gonna hold on to it. Kind of thought about like flipping it over here, but I'm not sure if that would catch me as well as I would like. Anyway, here is the dress so far. I figured I would try it on in front of the camera and show you guys everything and catch you up on everything. I did try on the top before putting on the skirt and figured out how high I wanted the skirt to be. I still don't know if I like the height of it. I feel like it might still be a little too low, but I just don't know if it's low enough that it's like worth the effort to take it all apart and put it back together again. So I'm kind of sitting on the fence because it's just, maybe it is because it's now where it should be. I don't know. I'll have to think about it. I need to decide before I, finish this and assemble it. Anyway, so remember how I had 2 sets of sleeves? Here. Oh man, this is going to be too hard with, okay, maybe I am going to clip this on. There we go. It's going to be hard doing this one-handed. And apparently I'm going to have my husband look at my mic because it looks like it's falling apart. Anyway, so remember I have 2 different sleeves. There was this sleeve that's like the original that comes with the pattern, and this sleeve that I didn't know where it came from. But I'm pretty sure this is the original to the pattern because this looks familiar. This does not. Anyway, funny enough, I had them on the right side. This sleeve that is the original to the pattern is on this side. This sleeve that's funny, that was already had one that was partially assembled, I tried attaching it to this side. It doesn't fit the arm's eye. It's not even the same size as the arm's eye. Before even cutting the little excess off that I need to for this sleeve. And yes, I have hairy armpits if you can see that. I haven't shaved. Seasonal depression's hit me really hard. That's besides the point. Anyway, so I didn't attach this sleeve because it doesn't fit in the arm's eye. And so I cut the arm's eye so I can put this sleeve in. But before I put this sleeve in, I figured I would show you that, hey, these sleeves don't even work. I don't remember why I got them, but they don't work. So there on the floor they go. This one I need to assemble, put on, like I just said. And then when I showed my husband this dress, as it is like right now, he came to the same conclusion I did when I first started this video, that it seems a little plain for my liking and my personality, and that it needs a little more pizzazz. And he said it would look better. He thinks it would look better with trim. I agree. I thought that at the beginning of this film, the very first of this film, of this project making. And I think it does need more pizzazz. It just doesn't fit me. No, maybe I will raise that just ever so slightly. I think I might raise this top ever so slightly. I'm gonna have to check it out in the mirror. So I'm gonna take a little break here, pause you guys for a second and bring you back. And I might put the sleeve on, the other sleeve on first. Yeah, I might put the other sleeve on first. And then I'm gonna bring you guys back and show you with each trim. I'm gonna try doing, I don't know what color trims, because I remember we had this problem last Valentine's Day season as I tried to make a belt for the dress and I didn't find a color I thought that it suit or fit or matched. Yeah, we'll go with, I couldn't find a color that I thought matched. I know we tried white and I didn't like it. I had a pinks that were very similar in the same color family, but I didn't like those because technically this little pink that's in between all the hearts is a bunch of, well, it's technically 2 pinks, and it's a bunch of teeny tiny baby hearts that make this pink that's in between all the other hearts. So, and like every heart on here is a different color because there's, here, let me get that sleeve. Because there's like that peach color, and then there's this pink, and that pink, and this pink, and this red that's a different than this red. But this one actually matches that red. And this heart, this pink technically has 3 different pinks. This heart has 3 different colored pinks. So there's a lot of colors. Which is, why we're thinking, hey, every buttonhole be a different color. So now I'm like, do we go with that game plan? I don't know. Everything's up in the air. I don't know where I'm going with this. I have no idea what I'm doing. So I think what we're going to do is put on the other sleeve. I'm going to try like a white and then a pink and a red, because I did see that I do have a red over here that does match one of the reds on here. I also don't think I have any other pinks that match any of the other millions of pinks on here, but I'll go check that too. But I'll try to make a trim for each color and we'll go through and try them all on. Okay, does that any of that make sense? Okay, so I have gone through all my fabric. Some of it is what's in my stash, some of it is scrap fabric, some of it is like bias tape I've already made. And these are our best contenders or ones I've already tried using. So up at the top are the ones I've already tried using. This is a pink that is in my scrap fabric, and it's interesting because you can't really tell on camera, but in real life it actually matches the pink that's these hearts pretty close. Like it's a little bit grayer than those. On camera it looks a lot grayer, but it's really close in real life, but it's just not close enough. We don't like it. We didn't like it last year. I don't like it this year. I have this pink fabric, this salmon pink fabric, that's like almost the same color as pink as these salmon orangey pink hearts. But I don't like the white flowers. I feel like that clashes. So we have the white, which matches, you know, the little white, oh, these little white dots, these little white parts, this little white part, this, yeah, there's a lot of little white pieces. So it would match all of the white. It does seem a little stark white, but it would match. I have this pink. Go away, Gannett. You're ruining my camera. I have this pink that is kind of in the same family. It's just like another weird kind of contrast pink. We thought maybe to give it a try. I have this red that's in my fabric. This is actually just the pillowcase. I have more of it, but it's like this same color red as these dark red hearts. So that was a really good contender. We really do like that one. And by we, I mean my husband and I. Then I have a bunch of this red bias tape that is actually like a brighter red than this red. But we figured I already made it, so might as well try. Then we have this pink, which once again, it's in my fabric stash. It's just like a bed sheet. But it is not, I mean, it's in the same family of pink, but once again, it does not match any of these pinks. Don't mind my blue string, but it does not match any of these pinks, but we figured it'd be worth a shot. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to try the white, a strip of this pink, a strip of this orange, the red because we already have it, and that pink. So only these two we're not going to try. So 5 contenders. My bet is on this pink, this red, that white. Okay, I didn't feel like trying this dress on 20,000 times, so Sally's wearing my dress form. Sally's wearing my dress. Sally is my dress form. Oh my gosh, English is so hard this week. Oh, anyway. Sally's wearing my dress. Sally is my dress form. She is wearing my dress. That looks so like my nurse costume. That is crazy. Okay. Whatever. That's besides the point. We have contender number 1 over here. Yes, don't mind my gathering stitch, strings, and stitch that I need to unpick. Anyway, we have contender number 1. It is the light pink. I like it, but I don't like it. I have mixed feelings. I like it because it is in that same family of pink, which is why we chose it. But it just doesn't stick out a whole lot. It's too blendy. But we have the red bias tape that I've already made for my Danganronpa outfit. And so here's that red. I also used it on Snow White. It looks really pink in this camera instead of red. I think it's just the lighting. Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think it's just the lighting or something. Anyway, but it's a contender. I mean, I don't really like it. My husband does. He says it's a little off red. He wishes it was a little bit darker of a red. Which I guess like we could coffee stain it to a darker red if like the dark red doesn't work out, but I feel like that's going to be more of a hassle than I want to put into it. I just filmed all of that without actually filming. Don't you love it when you accidentally don't push the record button when you think you did? Okay. So we have the hot pink, the darker pink on this side, and the darker red on this side. Even though it doesn't look darker red, but it does in the shadow, but the top part doesn't. And I think that's because of the glow lights. Oh my gosh, English once again. Grow lights. I have grow lights up there for my plants, and I think it's shining down and causing color morphing. Anyway, here's the dark red. I see that totally doesn't look like that red anymore. I mean, it does if you bring it closer, but pay attention to the shadows. That's more the true color. I don't know. It seems too dark now. I'm not in love with it. I thought I would, but I'm not in love with it anymore. Neither's my husband. He thinks it's too dark. That pink though. that pink that doesn't match any other pink on the dress. I'm enjoying that one. I'm liking that one. The white, I figured not even put it up because you can kind of see it here on the front. This is just this salvage edge, or it was a salvage edge, and I trimmed it down a bit. And I'm going to actually fold this over. I'm going to have interfacing, and it's interfacing. I'm going to have facing. And so that's all going to be sewn and fold in, and you're not going to see that. But you can kind of get the idea of what a white trim would look like. And with that salvage edge. And I feel like it's too white, which is why I didn't like it on the dress last year of a white belt. It's too bright, too starch. I don't like it. I thought I would. I mean, it's there, but I'm not the biggest fan of it. So, oh, I gotta get back up and jerk the camera around. So I don't know where to go. I'm gonna try all these options again and figure out what I truly like and what I don't like. Okay, so here's the dress in all its glory now. I showed my husband the trim on the one sleeve, the white trim on the one sleeve, and he was like, oh, the dress looks nursey with that. So, he liked it. He kind of liked it, kind of didn't, but we joked that it looked really nursey, so I ran with it. And I put some white trim on the top and the other sleeve, put a white belt on like I do with my Red Cross nurse dress, and I even, if you can tell, they blend really well. I have one heart button, so I tacked that on. I have other white buttons from my nurse dress, and I put those on. I even folded back the white stripes so you wouldn't see and it wasn't distracting. And you can see my mess on the floor, but yeah. It's looking really nursey, but I might run with it because it's hilarious and it's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible. I'm gonna go try the dark pink and the dark red because those were the other contenders that I kind of liked. I really liked the dark pink, but I also really liked the red. Okay, I did try the pink. I didn't like the pink. I now tried the red. And I could make the belt because it's just literally the top of the pillowcase. And yeah, anyway, and it's not like a whole lot because once again, it's just like part of the pillowcase and it's that little weird infold seam that I cut. And I could have cut the other side, but I didn't. Anyway, but I'm really liking the red. I really like it. Yes, you can still see my messy floor, but who cares right now? I'm really liking the red. I think as much as the white was awesome and went nursey, I'm enjoying the red. Okay, as for buttons, I was originally going to go with these silver ones, but obviously they're probably not going to match with the red. I haven't tried, but they probably are. I do have these two buttons that are almost the same size. They're a little bit bigger, which I actually prefer because these were tiny. I do have these two buttons from my childhood. And I'm thinking about, instead of going out to the store and trying to find matching buttons, I'm thinking about actually making a mold of these two buttons with the silicone like I did for the Tron dress. And just making some resin buttons. And that way I can get the red that matches the trim. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to just take these buttons, make a mold, a silicone mold, and then pour some resin and make some buttons, which is way more work than I wanted to put into this dress. This was supposed to be an easy win, but whatever. So I have made a bunch of button molds, and I'm going to quickly explain how I made them to you and how I'm going to make the buttons, because I just don't want to go in a lot of details and show you, plus I ran out of caulk. But you'll need a bowl of water with some Dawn dish soap and some cornstarch or potato starch if you're me. But the cornstarch and potato starch are optional. I actually didn't use it this time. Then you'll need some caulk that's 100% silicone. I used clear because this is what we used when we made buttons and the Tron dress, when we put the caulk over the lights on the Tron dress. So this is what's left over, but you can use any color. At least I hear any color works. I've mostly ever used silver. I've only ever really used clear or white. So what you do is you just pump some caulk into the dish soap water and mix it around and mix it around and mix it around. Make sure you get the dish soap water on your hands first before touching the caulk, otherwise it'll stick to you. But anyway, just move it around, knead it until it starts getting a little bit hard and no longer like stringy. It starts getting more tacky. Then you put it in your mold, and then you take your buttons. It would help if I had my buttons. You stick the caulk in whatever like container you want to put them in, and then you just push your buttons or whatever you want to make a mold of into your mold, and then you let it sit. I let these ones sit, normally I let them sit for like 12 hours. I let these ones sit for I think like 4 to 5 hours, just because I wanted to make a bunch of them as quickly as possible. And then now they've all have sat for, at least these ones, the last ones I made, these ones down here, have at least sat for almost 14 hours, and now I'm going to put resin in them. But anyway, here are the buttons I used. They're 2 different sizes. Here's the big one, and then I have, oh, I could just move my camera. Here's the big one, and then here's the 2 little ones. I put some hot glue around this one and this one. This one I took the hot glue off because it's a thin button where it's got like this thicker nub on the back. But otherwise it's really thin, so I just put some hot glue around the edge and then like smoothed it while it was hot with my finger because I'm a weirdo and that doesn't bother me. And then these were the first molds I used, and I actually didn't let the molds dry all the way because I wanted to see what would happen if I did it like, you know, a couple of, well, I let it sit for like 4 hours, and then as soon as the mold was 4 hours old, I put resin in it right away. I did some test yellow, and it wasn't really the greatest thing because, as you can tell, it did pull up some of the silicone. So, and they feel really bumpy and weird. So definitely let them sit and dry a little bit longer afterwards. And you can still see I have so much like glitter and resin stuck in there. So yeah, definitely let them dry without the item in there for longer. Just so they can finish drying, curing, and your resin doesn't stick. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make a resin, and I'm going to use some of this ultra fine or extra fine red glitter. And then I'm going to probably use some red resin dye. If not, I'll probably use some red food coloring because I've used those in the past, but I got these on free on Facebook Marketplace. And I've already tested them out right here. And I think a mixture between the two might get me the red I need. See, here's my little sample red of fabric that I need to match, because I'm going to try to match the red that's on the trim as best as I can. Oh, and then what we're going to do is when the resin cures after 24 hours, we're going to drill holes in all the where the holes go. Because the molds only have these little nubbins. They didn't go up all the way, which was totally fine. I was totally cool and fine with that because I knew it was going to be super hard to get clay up in those teeny tiny holes, let alone pull them out. Same with when the resin cures. So we'll just use a drill. I mean, it's not that hard. We can use a drill a hole, and then we have buttons. Okay, so here we are with the buttons. We're towards the end. We're at the home stretch. I literally just need to finish these buttons and sew them on the dress.
But here's what the buttons look like in their mold. I haven't taken these ones out. These are what the buttons look like when they're out of their mold, but I haven't drilled holes in them. These are buttons that I have already drilled holes, but I haven't cleaned up the back. So you can see there's like this nice sharpy edge, kind of. I'm hoping you can see there's that nice sharp edge. These ones I have drilled holes and buffed out the back, so you can kind of see I have rounded them out and buffed them. At least I hope you can kind of see I've rounded them out and buffed them. And of course, as you buff, I have that stupid focus on the button, not me. There, maybe I'll focus on the button now. Anyway, you can kind of see it has some white. There you can really see. It's got some white. These are like little pores holes that somehow I get powder in them, the resin powder in them when I'm buffering. I've never figured out how to get those out, but luckily it's on the side and not on the front. Unless it's this one where, okay, this is funny. Let's see, yep, there it goes. Okay, focuses on the button. The buffer popped over the edge and just ran right here over the glitter, and the glitter is no longer red. It's silver right there. So this button's a little funny, but that is what the buttons look like. I am actually going to go with the bigger ones. I'm really glad I made the bigger ones. I'm going to go with them. I like the way they look. But now I just got to finish these buttons over here and sew them on the dress. I'm super excited. I'm done. I'm so close.
Okay, once again, I'm gonna hold the mic because I feel like it looks weird. You like clip it onto something to hold the object. But whatever. It is what it is. Oh, I could do that with my rose. Oh, that was probably really loud. Okay, I'm gonna use my rose here. I'm talking my rose. Okay, thoughts and feelings about this dress. This was supposed to be an easy win, and it was definitely not an easy win. It was definitely went left. Everything I did, it went the opposite way. I didn't even use the buttons I wanted to use. Like, I don't know. Everything about this dress just went left. Not in a bad way. It just was not what I expected. I wanted an easy, quick win. Um, and yes, this dress was kind of a little bit easy, but it just had a lot of bumps along the way. Um, which, is life sometimes. Probably didn't help that like the last couple weeks have been super chaotic in real world problems in life. So that just added on to my not easy win. But it really wasn't that bad. The dress came out slightly different than I thought it would. It definitely has the different buttons. I didn't think about actually putting trim on, and it does have trim. I love the trim. I love the buttons. I have to show you up close if I can. I don't know if that's showing, but my buttonholes are two different colors. So we have a dark red and a pink, dark red, pink, dark red, pink. That was a fiasco putting that in. I put that first red buttonhole in, and I was like, and it matches the belt and everything in the trim. Ooh, but I put that on and was like, oh my gosh, what am I doing? This is gonna be the worst idea ever. And I was like, no, trust the process. I put every red hole in and then buttonhole in, and I was like, nope, nope, nope. I don't trust the process. I even woke up my husband. I was like, I don't know what I did. I think we really messed up. I think we really messed up. And he's like, no, no, trust the process. And we were gonna go with the pink that blend a whole lot more. But then we are like, no, because the red stood out. We need like a pink that really stood out. So we did a pink that kind of stood out. And even then, I got the whole way through making all the pink buttonholes, and I was like, I don't know about this. Then once I put the buttons, laid the buttons on top of the buttonholes or to the side of them, I was like, oh, it's not that bad. You don't see it. It kind of blends. It's not that bad. I do love it. I do love the little extra pizzazz, the little extra character it has. I love the red trim. It still feels nursey, but not like super nursey. I still kind of wish that, like, for the reveal, yeah, the reveal, I had like a stethoscope that I could play around and be doctory with, but I don't. So that kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Sorry, that was a hair. The belt I have problems with. With my other dresses, it doesn't, like, don't get me wrong, it sits okay, but it's tighter down here than it is up here, and it's a little gappier than my other belt. One belt. I've only made one belt like this. So I kind of wish it was more like an elastic belt, and maybe that's what I'll do somehow, is make another one that has an elastic in it and like tightens a little bit better, because I'm not into this belt. I like the way it looks, but I'm not into it. I don't know. It's weird. I'm just not into the belt. I feel like I still have kinks with it. Some problems I need to work with it. I also apparently need to fix some buttons, because that button, that's some gappage right here. I don't know if you can see that. That is some gappage right here between these last two buttons. The other ones aren't as bad. It's just that last one's pretty bad that I need to fix. I don't know what happened there. But everything else, it fits fine. It worked out. It was crazy process. I had no idea what I was doing, chaos, but it all worked out. It's pretty comfy. Not as comfy as my other dresses that have the same top. I do love that it's fuller skirt, but I do feel like it would have been better to just do the pattern I had before and just widen out the skirts like I did for my winter dress. But I also don't think I would have had enough fabric to lay out that way in the pad dress I did last year. So I think it all worked out. In the end, everything worked out, but it is what it is. And I just gotta trust the process. The buttons, I do have some problems with the buttons. They're not as cute as I like. They're a little rough because of the glitter. I should have just done like a thin layer of resin and then the glitter resin, but I was running short on time. So they're a little rough. And I could buff them out, but I'm also known in the past buffing out resin, it's just always made them not pretty for me. Like, they still need like a spray paint. Oh, well, I guess I could do that later on. Buff them out and then put a clear coat of spray paint over them or something. So the buttons are not that great. Oh, and then also I can't buff them. I can't buff them because this last button down here, I did buff, and I accidentally, the buffer went over the front of it, and it took all the red off of the red glitter. So now all the glitter is silver, which is okay because there is glitter on this fabric that is silver, so it does still match. But I put it on the last one, so hopefully nobody noticed. I also now need shoes that match because these pink shoes are not quite as pink. And then when I wear my other one, I just wear gold heels. When I wear the other dress, that's the same pattern, but this doesn't have the gold. So, and I don't have red shoes that match. These are my red heels, and they are too red, so they don't match. So I apparently need new shoes to match, which is yay, shoe shopping. Boo, shoe shopping. I don't know. I'm really scatterbrained. It is literally way past my bedtime. The day got away from me, so I'm trying to like do this as fast as I can. My brain's kind of all over the place because it's really late in the day. So, yeah. But I like the dress. It's comfy. Not as comfy as my other dresses that are similar design, but it's really not that bad. The buttons are kind of a little weird getting in and out of the buttonholes, but manageable. I think that's everything I wanted to say. So, if you like this video, don't forget to hit the thumbs up. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Hit the little bell notification so you know when I'm posting new videos. And thank you for watching oh so very much. And next time, I should have a pink and white dress that's similar to this coming out next time. So stay tuned for that. So anyway, thank you guys for watching so much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye! I need the stethoscope. Somehow.